A silhouette is the image of a person, animal, object or scene represented as a solid shape of a single color, usually black, its edges matching the outline of the subject. The interior of a silhouette is featureless, and the whole is typically presented on a light background, usually white, or none at all. The silhouette differs from an outline which depicts the edge of an object in a linear form, while a silhouette appears as a solid shape. Silhouette images may be created in any visual artistic media, but the term normally describes pieces of cut paper, which were then stuck to a backing in a contrasting color, and often framed. Cutting portraits, generally in profile, from black card became popular in the mid-18th century, though the term easel euro was seldom used until the early decades of the 19th century, and the tradition has continued under this name into the 21st century. They represented a cheap but effective alternative to the portrait miniature, and skilled specialist artists could cut a high-quality bust portrait, by far the most common style, in a matter of minutes, working purely by eye. Other artists, especially from about 1790, drew an outline on paper, then painted it in, which could be equally quick. The leading 18th-century English profilist in painting, John Miers, advertised 3-minute sittings, and the cost might be as low as £0.50 around 1800. Miers' superior products could be in grisaille, with delicate highlights added in gold or yellow, and some examples might be painted on various backings, including gesso, glass or ivory. The size was normally small, with many designed to fit into a locket, but otherwise a bust some 3 to 5 inches high was typical, with half or full-length portraits proportionately larger. From its original graphic meaning, the term silhouette has been extended to describe the sight or representation of a person, object or scene that is backlit, and appears dark against a lighter background. Anything that appears this way, for example, a figure standing backlit in a doorway, may be described as in silhouette. Because a silhouette emphasizes the outline, the word has also been used in the fields of fashion and fitness to describe the shape of a person's body or the shape created by wearing clothing of a particular style or period. Etymology and origins. The word silhouette derives from the name of a Père Marchand de Silhouette, a French finance minister who, in 1759, was forced by France's credit crisis during the 7 Years' War to impose severe economic demands upon the French people, particularly the wealthy. Because of de Silhouette's austere economies, his name became synonymous with anything done or made cheaply, and so with these outline portraits. Prior to the advent of photography, silhouette profiles cut from black card were the cheapest way of recording a person's appearance. The term silhouette, although existing from the 18th century, was not applied to the art of portrait making until the 19th century. In the 18th and early 19th century, a Euro profiles, a Euro or a Euro oeshadis, a Euro as they were called, were made by one of 3 methods: painted on ivory, plaster, paper, card, or in reverse on glass. A Euro oelocuta Euro where the negative image was traced and then cut away from light-colored paper which was then laid atop a dark background. And a Euro cut and paste Euro where the figure was cut out of dark paper and then pasted onto a light background. In art, the silhouette is closely tied in mythology with the origins of art. Pliny the Elder, in his natural history books XXXIV and XXXV, accounts the origin of painting. In Chapter 5 of Book XXXV, he writes, "A Euro we have no certain knowledge as to the commencement of the art of painting, nor does this inquiry fall under our consideration. The Egyptians assert that it was invented among themselves, 6,000 years before it passed into Greece. A vain boast, it is very evident. As to the Greeks, some say that it was invented at Sicyon, others at Corinth. But they all agree that it originated in tracing lines round the human shadow. Omnes umbra homines lineis circumducta Euroe." In Chapter 15, he tells the story of Butards of Corinth. A Euroe Butards, a potter of Sicyon, was the first who invented, at Corinth, the art of modeling portraits in the earth which he used in his trade. It was through his daughter that he made the discovery. Who, being deeply in love with a young man about to depart on a long journey, traced the profile of his face, as thrown upon the wall by the light of the lamp, umbram ex faciarius ad lucernam imperiat lineis circumscripsit. Upon seeing this, her father filled in the outline, by compressing clay upon the surface, and so made a face in relief, which he then hardened by fire along with other articles of pottery. Profile portraits. The advantage of the profile portrait is that, because it depends strongly upon the proportions and relationship of the bony structures of the face, the image is clear and simple. Profile portraits have been employed on coinage since the Roman era. The early Renaissance period saw a fashion for painted profile portraits, and many famous people such as Federico da Montefeltro and Ludovico Sforza were depicted in profile portraits. Recent research at Stanford University indicates that where previous studies of face recognition have been based on frontal views, studies with silhouettes show humans are able to extract accurate information about gender and age from the silhouette alone. This is an important concept for artists who design characters for visual media, because the silhouette is the most immediately recognizable and identifiable shape of the character. Traditional silhouette portraiture. A silhouette portrait can be painted or drawn. However, the traditional method of creating silhouette portraits is to cut them from lightweight black cardboard, and mount them on a pale background. This was the work of specialist artists, often working out of booths at fairs or markets. A traditional silhouette portrait artist would cut the likeness of a person, freehand, within a few minutes. Some modern silhouette artists also make silhouette portraits from photographs of people taken in profile. The work of the physiognomist Johann Caspar, who used silhouettes to analyze facial types, is thought to have promoted the art. One of the most famous silhouette artists of the 18th century, Auguste Drouot, cut thousands of portraits in duplicate. His subjects included French and British nobility and U.S. presidents. Much of his personal collection was lost in a shipwreck. In England, the best-known silhouette artist, a painter not a cutter, was John Miers, who travelled and worked in different cities, but had a studio on the Strand in London. In America, silhouettes were highly popular from about 1790 to 1840. The invention of the camera signaled the end of the silhouette as a widespread form of portraiture. The skill was not lost, and traveling silhouette artists continued to work at state fairs into the 20th century. The popularity of the silhouette portrait is being reborn in a new generation of people who appreciate the silhouette as a nostalgic way of capturing a significant occasion. In the United States, silhouette artists have websites advertising their services at weddings and other such functions. Cindy Harwood Rose is an American paper profilist, who uses only French archival black paper, and iris surgical scissors to create a stunning art piece in the historical silhouette fashion. She has cut paper profiles since the age of 16. Including in-person celebrities such as Elvis, Sammy Davis Jr., Golda Meir, Liberace, Peter Fonda, Mickey Rooney, Peter Nero, President George H. W. Bush and Barbara Bush, Tony Bennett, and Ashley Judd. In England there is an active group of silhouette artists. In Australia, S. John Ross plied his scissors at agricultural shows for 60 years until his death in 2008. Other artists such as Douglas Carpenter produce silhouette images using pen and ink. Artworks and illustrations. Since the late 18th century, silhouette artists have also made small scenes cut from card and mounted on a contrasting background like the portraits. These pictures, known as paper cuts, were often, but not necessarily, silhouette images. Among 19th-century artists to work in this way was the author Hans Christian Andersen. The modern artist Robert Ryan creates intricate images by this technique, sometimes using them to produce silkscreen prints. In the late 19th and early 20th century, several illustrators employed designs of similar appearance for making book illustrations. Silhouette pictures could easily be printed by blocks that were cheaper to produce and longer lasting than detailed black and white illustrations. Silhouette pictures sometimes appear in books of the early 20th century in conjunction with color plates. Illustrators who produced silhouette pictures at this time include Arthur Rackham and William Heath Robinson. Illustrators of the late 20th century to work in silhouette include Jan Pienkowski and Jan Olmerod. In the early 1970s, French artist Philippe de Rome uses the black-cut silhouette in his portraits of black people. In the 21st century, American artist Kara Walker develops this use of silhouette to present racial issues in confronting images. Shadow theater, originating in the Orient with traditions such as the shadow theaters of Indonesia, the shadow play became a popular entertainment in Paris during the 18th and 19th century. In the Paris of the late 19th century, the shadow theatre was particularly associated with the cabaret Le Chat Noir where Henri Riviere was the designer. Movies, since their pioneering use by Lotte Reiniger in silent films, silhouettes have been used to dramatic effect in many movies, including many of the opening credit sequences of the James Bond films. The famous opening sequence of the television series Alfred Hitchcock Presents features a silhouetted profile of Alfred Hitchcock stepping into a caricatured outline of himself. A scene from E.T. showing the central characters on a flying bicycle silhouetted against the full moon became a well-known movie poster. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 contains an animated sequence in silhouette illustrating a short story The Tale of the Three Brothers that is embedded in the film. The sequence was produced by Ben Hebon for Framestore, with artwork by Alexis Liddell. Silhouettes have also been used by recording artists in music videos. One example is the video for Buttons by the Pussycat Dolls, in which Nicole Scherzinger is seen in silhouette. Michael Jackson used his own distinctive silhouette both on stage and in videos such as You Rock My World. Early iPod commercials portrayed silhouetted dancers wearing an iPod and earbuds. The cult television program, Mystery Science Theater 3000 features the three main characters of the series watching a movie as silhouettes at the bottom of the screen. Photography, many photographers use the technique of photographing people, objects or landscape elements against the light, to achieve an image in silhouette. The light might be natural, such as a sunset or an open doorway, a technique known as contre-jour, or it might be contrived in a studio. See low-key lighting. Silhouetting occurs when there is a lighting ratio of 16:1 or greater. In graphic design, in media the term to silhouette is used for the process of separating or masking a portion of an image so that it does not show. Traditionally silhouettes have often been used in advertising, particularly in poster design, because they can be cheaply and effectively printed. Other uses. Fashion and fitness, the word silhouette, because it implies the outline of a form, has been used in both fashion and fitness to describe the outline shape of the body from a particular angle, as altered by clothing and fashion usage, and clothed or unclothed where fitness is concerned. Advertising for both these fields urges people, women in particular, to achieve a particular appearance either by corsetry, diet or exercise. The term was in use in advertising by the early 20th century. Many gyms and fitness studios use the word silhouette, either in their name or in their advertising. Historians of costume also use the term when describing the effect achieved by the clothes of different periods, so that they might describe and compare the silhouette of the 1860s with that of the other decades of the 19th century. A desirable silhouette could be influenced by many factors. The invention of crinoline steel influenced the silhouette of women in the 1850s and 60s. The posture of the Princess Alexandra influenced the silhouette of English women in the Edwardian period. See advertisement left. Identification. Because silhouettes give a very clear image, they are often used in any field where the speedy identification of an object is necessary. Silhouettes have many practical applications. They are used for traffic signs. They are used to identify towns or countries with silhouettes of famous monuments or maps. They are used to identify natural objects such as trees, insects and dinosaurs. They are used in forensic science. Military usage. Silhouettes of ships, planes, tanks, and other military vehicles are used by soldiers and sailors for learning to identify different craft. Journalism. For interviews, some individuals choose to be videotaped in silhouette to mask their facial features and protect their anonymity, typically accompanied by a dubbed voice. This is done when the individual may be endangered if it is known they were interviewed. Sports shooting. Metallic silhouette is a popular outdoor shooting sport using either rifles or handguns. See also, backlighting, Contour, Mud Flap Girl, Shadow Play, Kara Walker, Famous Silhouette Images. Recent photographic images. Bibliography, Anderson, Jens. Scissor Writing. Hans Christian Andersen, a Euro Paper Cuts 2002. Det Kongelige Bibliotek. Koch, Desmond. The Art of Silhouette. Read Books, 2008. ISBN 1-4097-8364-2, ISBN 978-1-4097-8364-0, Ingersoll, Julia. Wyankulet, The Ancient Shadow Plays of Bali, Gamelantunas Mecca. 2003. Gamelantunas Mecca. Jackson, Emily. The History of Silhouettes. 1911. General Books LLC edition 2010 ISBN 978-1-152-31181-7, KNIPE, Penley. Paper Profiles, American Portrait Silhouettes. Journal of the American Institute for Conservation 44.3 203 Euro 223. October 2, 2007. Macklin, Frank. 1759, the year Britain became master of the world. Pimlico, 2005, Or, and See Puppet Theatre in Asia. Asian Folklore Studies 33.169 Euro 84. October 2, 2007. PA 12, Rioniger, Lottie, Homage to the Inventor of the Silhouette Film. De Catjaraganili. DVD. Milestone Film, 1999. Rowe, F. Gordon. Women in Profile, A Study in Silhouette. J. Baker 1970 ISBN 978-0-212-98364-3, Rutherford, Emma. Silhouette, The Art of the Shadow. Rizzoli International Publications 2009. ISBN 978-0-8478-3077-0, Stoichita, Victor. A Short History of the Shadow. Reaktion Books 1997. ISBN 978-1-86189-000-9, Cedar, Julia. Silhouettes, The Fashionable Paper Portrait Miniature Around 1800. Imhoff Verlag 2014. ISBN 978-3-86568-969-6, Cedar, Julia. Reading Circles, Crafts, and Flower Arranging, Everyday Items in the Silhouettes of Luz Duttenhofer Ashgate. ISBN 978-0-7546-6550-2, references. External links, Gap Guild of American Paper Cutters, Silhouettes. Paintings and Drawings. Victoria and Albert Museum. Retrieved August 21, 2007. Profile Likenesses of the Executive and Legislature of Georgia, by William H. Brown, 1855, from the collection of the Georgia Archives. Kara Walker's A Horrible Beautiful Beast, Kara Walker's 2007 Whitney exhibit.